Thank you, Jane, for a wonderful talk. Um, there was a precepts class yesterday, and I think you were in it. Is that correct? Yeah? No, okay. There was a precepts class yesterday and also a precepts ceremony for North America that I was the precepts teacher for. So Stan taught the precepts class, and I was the precepts teacher for North America. So we both were immersed in precepts, and clearly Jane, being neither at the class nor at the ceremony, was also immersed in precepts. So thank you very much for your talk. Are there any questions?
I have a question, Judy.
Sure, and welcome back from Mexico.
Thank you. I really love Jane's talk because of that great clarity with which she expressed those concepts. But I'm thinking like, well, it's not always a moment of time. It's sometimes like with what you've done to try to deal with the COVID situation. You're studying evidence and looking at something for several hours, and the next day you're doing this, and it's a methodical process that goes over many days and weeks. So is that also does that do those Zen principles still apply in that situation where you're not? It's not like, oh, what I do right now. Instead, it's like, okay, you bring you study the evidence, you bring about a plan, and then you come to a conclusion over this course of many days.
So this moment is infinite in time and space. So when you're doing research, and I hope that's real research and not just looking things up on the internet and knowing you, I'm sure it's real research. When you're looking into things deeply, and it does take time, you're looking at evidence, you're looking at history, you're looking at all kinds of things, then in each moment, that's what you're doing. So each moment, you're doing something that's part of a broader picture. So yeah, there's no problem. There's absolutely no problem. Also, we talk about this moment, and this moment, I love Zoom because it makes it very clear that even this moment does not exist as we think it does, because there's this 1/20th of a second gap. So if you were in the room with me, you would be hearing what I'm saying roughly a 20th of a second earlier than if you were on Zoom. So, what is this moment, right? You think, oh, I'm hearing her in this moment, but what is this moment? So, even that is something people have invented. So, yeah, sometimes we have to plan things, of course. Sometimes we have to plan things. Sometimes we have to look into things very deeply before we can plan them. We have to gather data, we have to gather evidence, we have to look at other people's experience, we have to look at all kinds of things that may even, excuse me, might even seem unrelated to what it is that we're looking at. But that's just, we say moment by moment, this unreal moment by moment, it unfolds, you know. And you read about time, and it is not what we think it is. It is absolutely not what we think it is. So here we are immersed in this space time and immersed in our ideas of it. But what are we doing just now? And sometimes just now is part of a longer process. In fact, it always is, because you were born and then you die. So it's part of that process. So, yeah. So just pay attention. Just pay attention. Whatever's in front of you, which could mean looking into something that's behind or something that's ahead, whatever is in front of you, just do it with a clear mind and an open heart. Does that help? Okay. Carol Schmidt raised her hand. Do you want to say something?
Yes, please. Thank you. Let me take my hand down right now.
Okay.
Yeah, so for a long time, I've been feeling deeply in my heart about dependent co-arising, about how the trees and the walls and the tiles and the pebbles, to quote Dogen Zenji, are radiating Buddha Dharma. And we, common people as well as sages, are radiating it back for the sake of, trees, walls, and pebbles. And this has been very deep in my heart and very important to me for many years. And lately I've been reading so when I go on a walk, I touch the trees, I thank them for what they do for each other, and what they do for me and all of us. Anyway, but lately I've been reading the Platform Sutra. And in there, the sixth ancestor talks about, he doesn't talk much about meditation, sitting meditation at all. It's barely in there. The precepts are not in there in the way that we usually think of them. What he talks about, as I read it, is over and over, he talks about direct seeing into your own nature. That's a phrase that it's in there, direct seeing into your own nature, direct seeing into your own mind. So I'm sort of like, I don't know, I'm sort of brought down a peg or something, or a little, it's this difficult time for me right now in terms of what is direct seeing? Do you have any comments you can add to direct seeing into my own nature? I'm starting to work with it. I'm starting to assimilate it. I'm starting to feel into it. But I just thought I'd ask if you had any comments to say.
Well, first of all, it's lovely to meet someone else who also touches plants. Every time we go on a walk in the wetlands, I'm always touching the plants.
Right,
And I have to do it with two hands. I can't do it just with one hand. It has to be two hands, you know. But yeah, so one person is pointing this way and one person is pointing this way. But they're pointing to the same thing. Right here. Okay? So one person, Dogen's pointing this way. Hui Neng is pointing that way. They're pointing to the same thing. Okay?
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank
So
you.
I won't say any more because that would be putting legs on a snake.
No. Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Are there any other questions? Yeah, Bond.
Oh, thanks. I was just going back to your statement that each moment is infinite in time and space. Um, I've thought a lot about that idea for a long time. And sometimes I feel like I kind of, I think, well, yeah, I somehow get it, but then most of the time I think, oh, I don't get it, and I want to understand it better, although I realize maybe it's not something it's a concept that can be really understood on a intellectual level. But can you help me have a better understanding of it intellectually? Like, is the so like say the reason is each moment is infinite in time and space because the categories of time and space and the chronological and spatial delineations and discriminations we put on the thing are just our own concepts, but the moment is actually free of these concepts, and so if there are no concepts that apply to it, then it is infinite. Is that how I should understand this, or is there I'm sure you have a better way. I'd love to know, like, how is each moment infinite in time and space?
So you started out by saying that to you the phrase is just an idea.
Mm.
And the six ancestors, Hui Neng, said, do not be attached to any idea. The Diamond Sutra says that. The Diamond Sutra, that's what woke up Hui Neng when he heard in the Diamond Sutra, do not be attached to your thinking.
Mm.
So to say that this moment is infinite in time and space is very useful when someone is very attached to the notion of this moment.
Mm. Mm-hmm.
Someone is very attached to ideas about this moment is infinite in time and space, then saying just this moment is very useful. So there's kind of a dialectic that's going on because language is not to be trusted. Do not be attached to our thinking. So yeah, there are a lot of interpretations you could put to it. Another interpretation which you didn't put to it, but could be put, is that every action has infinite repercussions. So
Mm.
put it that way if you wanted to. You could put it in this codependent origination, that each thing, Indra's net, each thing affects each other thing. You could do all that if you want to. And if it's helpful, and it's all metaphor, right? So if it's a helpful metaphor, why not be helped by it?
Mhm. Mhm. Mhm.
Don't cling
Okay.
to any idea, okay?
Right.
I
Thank
mean,
you.
do philosophy is fun for those who find philosophy fun. Go ahead and do it, but don't cling to it.
Mm.
That's what's really important, okay?
Right. Thank you. Yes. Yes.
Thank you. Okay. Any other question?
Judy,
Yeah.
can you talk more? You just said to Bond, language is not to be trusted. And
Yep.
that is coming from a poet. And I'm a librarian, former English teacher. Can you talk more about that? Because language is so important. I mean, it's how we survive.
Language is a tool, okay? So, the koan about um, the monk asking Joju, Chaochu, Joshu, why did Bodhidharma come to China? And instead of responding, Bodhidharma came to China to bring Zen, Joju replies, the cypress tree in the front garden. And then Muman, in his commentary, writes this poem. Words cannot show truth. Speech cannot point into nature. One who holds words is dead. One who attaches to sentences is lost. So even the structure of our language, the fact that we have nouns and verbs, things and actions, already we're making a distinction that does not exist. And then we have adjectives. So you're wearing a blue jacket. So it's a blue jacket. The blue is somehow separate from the jacket, right? So our language is constantly making separations. And it's constantly making these categories, which are in fact so fluid that they, in the real world, whatever the real world is, don't really exist. But we need them to function because we're human beings. And we have to function. You have to wake up in the morning and decide, am I going to wear the blue jacket or the green jacket? You have to decide, what jacket are you wearing, right? Because you're not going to wear both. Well, maybe you will, but probably not. Okay? So we need language to function, but we can't believe in it to the point that everything we do is determined by it. We have to use it well, use it freely, but not be fooled into thinking that language and this universe are the same. So when I was a kid, we were told that a noun was a person, place, or thing. That's ridiculous. A noun is a category of words, and people, places, and things are in the world. They're not on the printed page, but that's what we were taught. A noun is a person, place, or thing. And, we have this idea that language is reflects the world perfectly. It doesn't. It's absolutely artificial. And it comes from our particular nervous system, our particular brain, the way human beings are constructed. We're going to have something like language, but recognize it for what it is. It's a tool, and use it well. Okay? Thank you. Any other questions? I'm the short answer person today.
I have a question.
Sure.
Well, yeah, or maybe something for you to comment on. So I updated my phone, and now the weather app has these really cool graphs and everything. And I found myself looking at them and thinking, oh wow, well the wind is this speed, and and the sun is this, with the graph you can see where the sun is in the sky, and so how much more sunlight I'm going to have, and the temperature, where the temperature is in this continuum of where it started in the morning and where it ended. And as I was walking outside, I was thinking about the app. Where would the sun be? Where would the which was just then kind of ridiculous, because it's just kind of what you're saying. So I'm looking at this app thinking that I understand weather and time. I mean, more so weather, but really the only way to understand weather, the only way to experience, is for me to go outside. Is what you're saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Zen Master Sung San, you want to know what a banana is like, peel it and eat it. Then you'll know what a banana is like. Yeah. And there's this famous story of, I don't know, famous, it appeared in Buddha Dharma as a little thing, where he met some big Tibetan monk type guy. And Zen Master Sung San pulled an orange out of his sleeve. Monks' robes can have really long sleeves. Pulls an orange out of his sleeves and says to the Tibetan monk, "What is this?" Which is a pretty rude thing to do. But anyway, he did this. And the monk looks at his hand. He says, "Doesn't he know what an orange is?" So, but yeah, the only way to know what an orange is to peel it and eat it. Yeah, I don't know, personally, we'll wake up in the morning and look at each other and, well, what are we going to do today and what am I going to wear today? And then I'll look at my phone when I could take a few steps and open the back door to the kitchen. And I would have an idea of what to wear today. But yeah, we all do it. And yeah, we're just constantly fooled that way. So thank you very much. Yeah, your comment didn't need any commentary, but I commented anyway. But thank you. Exactly. Yeah. Okay. Any other short questions? Yes, sir.
I don't have a question, but today is the anniversary of Zen Master Sung Sung's death.
Ah, I did not know that.
So,
Thank you.
yeah, Dae Bong's went up to Seoul, to the temple we're associated in Seoul, Wagaesa, to attend. They always have this big commemorative ceremony. So we're they're ahead of us. So it happened last night, which is today, in terms of the sun moving across the sky.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Um, why don't we chant for him? What would be the appropriate chant? Would it be Namu Amitabha? Would it be?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to ask Dae Kwang Sanim just the way we do it in the morning, just the way we did Jijang Bosal and Kwanse Bosal. Could you just lead us in a little bit of, and everyone else mute yourself, a little bit of, and maybe we could stop the recording now.
Right.